It's Tessa with Hip Over 50. I'm still at my house pet sitting gig in the Somerset countryside. Today, I want to talk to you about moving abroad because that's what I did. And I know a lot of folks come to hipover50.com to find out how to do it, how to change their lifestyle. And of course, you can do it at any age, but I specifically address those of us that are over 50 because let's face it, that's the time when you start saying, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? How am I going to make it meaningful? What boxes have I not ticked? What experiences do I want to have? And what is most important to me now? Because this is when it starts to really count. So, I want to talk to you about what qualities I think you need to move abroad, especially if you're over 50. Um, the first one, which is kind of a big deal, is you need to have an open or growth mindset. You may have heard of this concept before. There's open or growth mindset or fixed mindset. People that are always challenging themselves, that are always open to new experiences, that are still learning, have an open or growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset are pretty content where they are. They want to just keep things the way they are, and they're happy that way. They may not ever move out of the place that they were born in. They may be comfortable staying in the same place for many, many years. And that's okay too. It's just we're all different. I have identified myself as having an open or growth mindset because I do like a certain amount of change. I like stability in my life and I make sure that I have it. But at the same time, I'm always looking to learn and looking for new experiences. So if you are the same, if you are constantly curious and always wanting to learn new things and challenge yourself, then moving abroad may be just the thing for you. The other element I think you need to have is self confidence. You need to feel like, yeah, I can do this. I can make it work. Because there will be obstacles, there will be frustrations, there will be bureaucracy, there will be red tape, there will be hurdles, and it will take you out of your comfort zone. So if you have good self confidence, that's going to help you move abroad successfully. I think it takes belief that you can make it work and a belief that deep down, you're going to find a way to make it work no matter what. And the third thing I think that you need to move abroad is to have a sense of adventure. And that kind of goes back to the open and growth mindset. But I think you need to be willing to push yourself a little out of your comfort zone, to really be willing to explore and embrace new cultures, sometimes new languages, depending on where you move. And yeah, get out of your comfort zone. I think that's probably the phrase that best describes it because even moving here to England from the US, yeah, we all speak English, but to be honest, this is still a foreign country in many ways. The culture is different, the customs are different, the way people communicate is very different. So take away driving on the left hand side of the road. It's when you get into a conversation with somebody, you know that we're coming from two different places because the US, I've been told, we're much more direct. We tend to be more honest or say what we think. Whereas in Europe, parts of Europe and England, Great Britain, the UK, people tend to not say what they think. Or if they say something, it's something that makes you wonder what exactly did they mean. So I think going out of your comfort zone is a good apt description for that because you may feel like, yeah, I know what I'm going to get myself into, but the reality is that you have to be prepared to be out of your comfort zone, to sort of rejig and relook at things from a different perspective. If you want to make it successful, if you want to try to fit in and not just be like a tourist. On Hip Over 50, I talk about coming over to England for 6 months. The UK is one of the few places in the world that allows people to live here for up to 6 months without a visa, which is pretty sweet. I mean, that really gives you a chance to kind of dip your toe in and find out, is this lifestyle going to be for me? So I absolutely recommend it. The first time I came over on my own, I came over for like 6 weeks because I'd been over here on a typical 2 week holiday or vacation. And I said, you know what, this isn't enough. As didn't really scratch the itch. I just didn't want to go back this time. So I thought I'll come over for 6 weeks and see how I feel. I'll get a little better. I stayed at an Airbnb. I was on my own, so I got a sense of what it would be like without any other distractions. And that sort of made up my mind. I went back and I told my then partner, I would like to spend at least 6 months out of the year in England. Now, I have citizenship. So even though I didn't have a passport at the time, I was able to apply for one and get one fairly easily. Most folks that write me on my website do not have that easy path to the right to remain here or the right of permanent residency. They may have to look for a visa, or they may have to content themselves with just coming here for 6 months at a time. Now, personally, I had planned on keeping a home in the US as well as a home here. I had never really thought it through about moving here full time indefinitely, but because of the pandemic and other situations, I find myself living here full time, which is fine, but I'm able to do that. I have the right to be here. But I think it's a perfectly viable option to come over here, experience the life, and also keep a place in the US. If you're moving over 50, or if you've already retired and you have the flexibility of time, I think it's a very viable option. At least come over here, use that 6 months to find out if this is right for you. And then you can figure out, can you make it work on the long term? So moving abroad is not for everybody, but it's a game changer. I absolutely love my life. I'm constantly learning new things. I'm constantly experiencing new places, and I wouldn't change a thing. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the box below, and I'll talk to you soon.